Alright, what's up guys? It's Jack and welcome back to another video, and I am here in this one to talk to you about how Call of Duty is not a casual game anymore. And even without skill-based matchmaking, but first and foremost I gotta get into there's three gameplays in this video. I gotta talk about that because it goes hand in hand with today's topic of discussion. So in this lobby, if I remember correctly, there's like a level 900 something prestige master, and he's a sweat, and overall we were going back and forth in terms of wins and yada 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 and all that kind of stuff. And in this game right here, I'm actually playing very casually. It looks like I'm going super sweaty ham, but that's not the case at all. It just so happens to look that way simply because of the fact that I play on a higher sensitivity than most people, and if you play on a higher sensitivity, you just look like you're sweating a lot more. I mean, it definitely looks sweatier when you're playing on a higher sensitivity versus a slow sensitivity. But anyway, I'm also running a silenced AN-94 class, which is actually a weak class, believe it or not. Don't let this gameplay fool you. The AN-94 is actually a weak weapon, despite the fact that they buffed it recently. So I'm just enjoying the Black Ops 2 vibes that this gun is offering, and it's giving me a different flavor of the game, and I'm trying to enjoy the quote-unquote casual aspect of Call of Duty. But as time went on with this lobby, so to speak, and not just with this player in particular, but with the other players as well, I started to notice, just as an example of just how Call of Duty itself is really, the multiplayer is not casual anymore. And again, this includes the omission of skill-based matchmaking as well, because as you guys know, Modern Warfare has pretty strong skill-based matchmaking, and this game has little to none. I mean, I think the team balancing, but in free-for-all, I think there is a form of it in there. I don't know. I mean, let's just say, because it's been said by the developers themselves that there always has been a form of it in the game. It just depends on how much it's dialed down or whatnot. Let's just say the skill-based matchmaking is a lot more doable, or a lot more towards the weaker side compared to fucking Modern Warfare, right? So, but anyway, despite that, the game is, Call of Duty in general is more competitive, and let me tell you why. Now, in the second gameplay they're going to see is a difference of when I go ham. I change classes, I use a different kind of class, and you'll see the difference in the gameplay of what it really means to sweat, so to speak. I mean, I know a lot of you already know, but when you look at the gameplay in this one versus the second one, and then back to the third one, which is actually casual as well, partially because of the weapon that I'm using, you can see the difference, especially if you're an experienced player. But anyway, that's enough about the gameplay. So let's talk about the subject at hand, right? Okay, well, first and foremost, like I said in previous video time and time again, Call of Duty is no longer the new kid on the block, right? Everybody knows and plays Call of Duty at this point. Even those people that don't play Call of Duty at one point either know about it to a great degree, or they play it a little bit here and there, or have played it. But the thing is, because of YouTube, because of the competitive scene, because of, you know, you've got channels out there that make videos talking about which weapon is the best weapon, try this class setup, yada yada yada. After years and years of doing that, and with Call of Duty coming out every year, with a new one coming out every year, and the changes being implemented, the different design factors that are being implemented, I am telling you that it's by design that the game is just, by time as well, in terms of what it has become, and also by the game's design, that it is simply put competitive. Like, for instance, let me tell you something. If somebody wants to beat me, okay, whether they're on my level or not, and again, I'm not like praising myself or anything like that, saying that I'm a hell of a player or anything like that. No, I'm just saying that I'm experienced, right? But let's say you have somebody who's significantly less experienced than I am in Call of Duty, right? For instance, if you want to beat me in free-for-all, all you have to do is put a micro 9mm, whatever that gun fucking is, that broken piece of shit, with acoustic sensor and or body armor. And there you go. You're going to win that free-for-all match, especially when you come up against me in a gunfight. You're going to beat me, because if I'm going to use a cordite, or if I'm going to use a lesser weapon that is not that weapon, you're going to beat me in that gunfight unless you absolutely suck at aiming. And with aim assist being buffed year after year, well, there's a higher probability that you're going to win. So despite the fact that the gun has a delay, it still shreds faster than pretty much any other automatic weapon in the game, quite frankly. Honestly, even from the hip or whatnot, it's pretty ridiculous, and anybody that's played the game will know. And let's see, there's a different class setup as well. You've got the strobe light of justice, as 402 Thunder likes to call it, with some acoustic sensor. Wham bam, you're gonna win. unless somebody is smart enough to use, what's it called, tactical mass to try to counter that. But again, most people are not doing that. But the thing is, if you want to win, you want to get first place, you know, you want to go up against another tryhard and have a much, much, much better chance, an instant skill chance of winning. Those are two options right there. Of course, the VMP is another good option. And by the way, speaking of something, I wanted to say something else as well. I hope in the next game they don't have something like an acoustic sensor or an awareness perk or anything like that. I mean, sure, I've used it here and there. I had somebody in my comment section way back, like earlier this year, or maybe even late last year, says, "Hey, I'd sub to you, but I noticed that you're using acoustic sensor." I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, one of the few games where I'm actually using acoustic sensor, which I don't use the vast majority of the time. And hell, even I've gotten my best scores in throughout Call of Duty history without using a sound whoring thing. Although I do like to run dead silence if there is sound whoring in the game. The only Call of Duties that I'm aware of that sound whoring is not as much of a big a deal is Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 2. Other than that, I am always running dead silence. I cannot stand being heard from a mile away. It gives somebody instant skill and lets them know you're coming. So dead silence is pretty much a necessity for a player like myself who likes to run and gun a lot and play aggressively. Granted, there's a method to it, but simply put, because of them putting things like this into the game, and as well as the combination of the popularity of YouTube, you got guys like Drifter that do in-depth episodes, Exclusive Ace, like that, and I'm not blaming it solely on them. I'm just saying that the evolution of Call of Duty, you know, everybody has, myself included, has somehow in some way, shape, or form played a role. Now, I personally don't think that most of you could, I don't think most of you give a fuck of how good I may or may not be at this game, honestly. I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you guys watch my videos for whatever reason that you prefer to watch them, but please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that most of you could care less how good couldn't care less of how good I play. I think you're here for the commentaries more than anything else, in all honesty. So please correct me and let me know down in the comment section if I'm wrong, because again, I'm always eager to learn. I mean, just when you think you know it all about something or something specifically, life will always come back and surprise you. So I figured I might as well ask the horse itself, and you guys can tell me. You know, let me know from the horse's mouth itself. Please tell me. But as you can see, it doesn't really take it for a game to be super competitive like Call of Duty. It really doesn't take skill-based matchmaking to make that happen. It could be a whole bunch of cheesy classes. It could be instant skill classes. It could be aim assist being buffed, which it has been. If you go back to previous Call of Duties, like let's say go back and play, I don't know, let's say go play Black Ops 3, and then come and play Black Ops 4, and you will see that the aim assist is buffed, like crazy buffed. And then in Modern Warfare, it's even more buffed. I mean, how do you think these mouse and keyboard players are getting shitted on by console players? So anyway, yeah, guys, it is what it is. It's one of those things to where it's a pill that we're gonna have to swallow. And as time goes on, I mean, when you play Call of Duty, one way or another, in some way, shape, or form, if you want to play decent at the game, you're gonna have to like sweat, like in some way, shape, or form, whether it's lesser or more. I mean, it's really difficult to relax and play Call of Duty. Like for the first, like before I started making this commentary here, like I was actually leaning back in my chair and playing up until the way that motherfucker was playing, the level 900 something was playing, and then in his last game, before the gameplay you just saw, he ended up leaving the lobby after winning very decisively. You know, he was using that a sweaty VMP class, and he found himself a really, really good power position. He just didn't leave there, and the thing is, he kept on melting everybody else, including myself. And the thing is, you think he wouldn't be there, but by the time you saw him, he melted you so fast that you had no way to escape. And he was even using an elo sight on that VMP. Holy shit, dude! It's like, wow. I usually thought only noobs use that, but apparently it's a thing. So even tryhards and sweats use it. I personally never have, but hey, the recoil is more predictable in Black Ops 4 than it was in Black Ops 3, because that's one of the things they wanted to do in this game. So yeah, so the VMP can be very, very precise with some sort of optic sight. But anyway, yeah, guys, the thing is right now with Call of Duty, in terms of what it has become and what it's going to turn into because of the popularity of everything, in terms of YouTube and the influence that the YouTubers have on a younger audience, as well as the in-depth guys that create all the statistics and stuff like that. Pub stompers saying, oh, this class melts and this and that. I mean, ever since the days of Black Ops 2 and beyond, as far as I can remember, it really didn't take long for somebody that dedicated a few hours a day into Call of Duty to find people, or a multitude of people, that use that recommended class that was posted on YouTube just days ago. whether it was by a guy like Drifter, or whether it was just by a pub stomper, or whether it's just by a regular guy like me that found a class and said, hey, use this class. This class is amazing, you know? The combination of that, competitive, and social media being bigger than ever, and the way games are being designed. And of course now you've got the addition of skill-based matchmaking, so it's kind of like putting a lock on the door or a nail in the coffin, so to speak, which is pretty much a way to like not escape or whatnot. So it is what it is. So Call of Duty is no longer a casual game. We are, and on top of that, I will actually say that we are multiplying. Like, there will come a day very soon. I'm predicting this now, and I'm calling this now. So for those of you guys that have your own say on this, let it be known in the comment section. I'm predicting it right now that sooner rather than later, I don't think that people like myself are going to be the minority anymore. I don't think so. I think the numbers of the people that are becoming competitive, whether it's in pubs or whether it's competitive play, there are more and more of us as time goes on. And the reason why I know this is not because I'm doing YouTube or because I'm some sort of genius or anything like that. No, quite the opposite, actually. I'm not. I'm definitely not the brightest bulb in a knife drawer, so to speak, when it comes to life itself. Because if it would be, I would be a lot more successful in life. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent here. But the thing is that because of the popularity of everything and how everything is developing, as well as the generations and stuff like that, there are more and more good players. And because of my experience and the amount of time I've invested in Call of Duty, YouTube aside, I am noticing more and more and more good players. And I am a person that does not lobby shop either. And even if I did lobby shop, I'm pretty sure that I would still see more and more and more good players. Now, I know a lot of the times the team balancing algorithm thinks that I'm the best player in the lobby and puts the worst teammates on my team. And while there's Prestige Master Sweats, like 2 or 3 of them or more on the opposite team sometimes, whether it's in Mercenary or not, the thing is, one way or another, even in free-for-all or whatnot, I notice there's a much higher percentage of good players. And remember, a good player, what's the difference between a good player and a bad player? Like, there's so many different factors, but if you've been playing long enough like I have, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that there's definitely a higher percentage. And that percentage is only going to get higher. And I'd say within the next 2 years or 3 at the most, we may either be at the 50-50% ratio in terms of casuals to sweats, or dare I say it, even harder. And that's skill-based matchmaking put aside. And that's where I see Call of Duty going. So anyway, guys, let me know down in the comment section what you think and what your opinions are. And that's all I got. And let me know down in the comment section what you think. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I could do to make my videos better. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.